The cost of 4 years at college can affect a family's finances for decades. And when money is tight, as it is for so many families these days, it's more important than ever to talk about who should pay for college, parents, kids, or both. Joining us to weigh in, Lynn O'Shaughnessy, who's a blogger at The College Solution, Zac Bissonnette, who's the author of Debt-Free You, How I Paid for an Outstanding College Education Without Loans, Scholarships, or Mooching Off My Parents, and back with us, Ray Martin of CBS Marketwatch. Good to have all of you with us this morning. It's an interesting dilemma because we hear so much from financial advisors like Ray. What you should worry about first as a parent is actually your retirement, not your kid's college education. 63% of public and private college presidents say, from a Pew Research study, parents and students should both pay. Lynn, does it actually matter how it's divided, who pays for college?
Absolutely, because college is very expensive and it's growing far higher than the rate of inflation, and it has been for many years. So for most kids, they're not going to be able to handle this burden on their own. There has to be a partnership between the parent and the student. And the goal is to find schools that are going to be affordable, because most schools discount dramatically.
So that's obviously an important part of it. You need to go somewhere that you can afford. But also, Zac, you pay for all this on your own. And a lot of kids do that. A lot of parents don't have the money as much as they would like to.
Right. I mean, it's wonderful if parents can help. My message to parents is that you don't need to ruin your financial life to help your kids go to college. And there's a lot of people who think, and I'm hearing this a lot from parents, especially lately, that somehow if I have my kid borrow a lot of money for college, that'll give him an investment in his education. And I think that the theory that having a bunch of debt encourages people to act like adults was kind of debunked by the stuff we saw in Washington a few weeks ago. So, you know, graduating with a bunch of debt adds stress to people's lives, and the best way to do this is debt-free.
So you're saying don't even do it with loans?
No, I think it's terrible. Okay,
so is there is there sort of a medium between these 2 points, Ray? What's the best way to handle this?
Well, I agree that excessive college loans are one of the most toxic debts folks can get into, especially when you're getting out of college and you spend $160,000 on education for a $30K a year job. How are you going to pay that off?
And that's the average for a private education. The average for public is about $58,000.
Right, and you got to look at the economics of college. But here's what I advise my clients when they're talking about paying for this or not. I say, look, if you have the assets to do it and we've planned properly, that's okay, but still consider this. Don't jeopardize your retirement to do this. There are no loans for retirement. There are loans for college. I don't even like them, though. I think college debt is toxic. Stay out of it if you can. Okay, number two, don't strip your home equity to pay for your kids' college. And lastly, don't get into excessive debt that you can't pay off. Don't do it. The emotional tug is there. Don't do it, though.
We talk so much about the debt. What about the impact of actually paying for a student paying for their own education, the impact it has on it? Some people think, and Lynn, I'll start this one with you, if a student does contribute at least partially or if not all to their education, they get more out of it and they're more motivated to finish.
Well, I think what's a safe thing to do if kids have to borrow, and a lot of children do, 2/3 do end up borrowing, is to borrow through federal student loans. The Stafford loan is the best loan, and it also has some protections. So if you graduate without a job or you're underemployed, which is happening a lot lately, you pay through federal loans based on basically what you can afford, not on what you owe. So it's a great protection. So I would say stick with federal loans, and you can borrow up to $31,000 in federal loans.
What about working? Now I worked during college. I had work study. I'm still paying off my college education. My mom's still paying off part of it too because they did as much as they could. Does it affect a kid's education if they're working while they're in school? That's what you did, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did. And the overwhelming evidence, and I've looked at a lot of research on this, is that your GPA is not going to be affected by whether you work during college. There was one study that found that students who worked more than 40 hours a week on average ended up graduating with GPAs just as high as students who didn't work at all. There's plenty of time to work and go to school.
All right. Well, we'll continue to follow it. But some great advice for a lot of folks this morning and some nice personal stories, too. Thank you all.
Great.